Hey guys, I'm going to try and do this quick here. We're just wrapping up, but I wanted to show you a couple ideas, and nighttime pictures never quite do it justice, but a couple things that we did on this project that I'm really excited about is, if you notice this nice gate feature we have behind us here, we actually used just our regular uplight on both pillars of the gate, just to highlight that area. Instead of just having some path lights that highlight the walkway that I'm standing on right now, we really wanted to take advantage of the cool archway there. So we just lit that up with some cool accent lights. But one thing we did do, and I've talked about this lots, is anytime you have an area where you're going to be kind of walking in and out, you don't want those lights shining in your eyes, so hex baffles. We put those on a lot of areas where you might get some glare in your eyes. That little honeycomb shaped filter that fits over the lens, it's only a couple extra bucks, but it's well worth it if you've got an area where you have a light close to close to a walkway here. I'm just going to show you an area, an example where we would use an in-ground light. So we have these nice stone columns coming into the driveway area of this house, and sorry it's a little loud, it's a little windy, we're right by the roadway here, but bear with me. But entryways of driveways, entryways of the homes, you always want to try and feature those, especially, and typically you have some nice features like some stone pillars or something around the house, some nice columns or beams or something. You always want to try and get a light on that. So for this example, we're using our in-ground light. Reason being is because this is kind of a rock driveway area. I don't want to use a typical uplight and accent light, which will basically get you the same effect. The difference is I want the light source to start right at the ground, right at the base, and I don't want to have to worry about anybody from the street or any vehicles or anything knocking this over or hitting it or anything like that. So we're going to put this right in the ground. I've got it not too far back from the pillar. I've got it maybe, we'll call it 12 to 18 inches back of the pillar. It's going to be shining straight up. We're going to get this pillar as well as a lot of the foliage and the trees that are above. So these in-ground and accent lights, we don't use them all the time because they are a little bit more costly, a little bit more maintenance to keep clean, especially if you're in a leafy area. But in some cases, it's a great light to use, and that's where we're going to use it on this property. This is why we light up pillars. We got a couple in-ground lights that are lighting this entryway, and they look really good. So I mean, anytime you got an entryway, whether it be to your home or to your driveway, I think you're doing it a huge disservice if you don't get some lights in there. I like the in-ground lights too because they start right at the base, so they light that whole thing up from top to bottom. So something to consider anytime you got a nice entryway is definitely use those in-ground lights. Now I'm going to show you some tree lighting examples and how we do that. Now I'm going to do it down low here. I've got my ladder. I'm going to go put it up in the tree, but it's tough to get my camera up there. So this is how we do it. We do it with these tree mount stakes, and the reason I like these is they're no maintenance. Sometimes you'll see people will mount lights to trees just using like a regular bracket, but what happens is as that tree grows, eventually it grows right over that bracket, right over the wire and all that. So I'm going to show you how to do this properly so that you don't have to worry about that. And it's with these tree stakes. Super easy. See, the light screws actually into the top of here, and then this screws into our tree. So basically what I do is I just get it started with the hammer, get it in there a little bit, and then you can just use any screwdriver or anything. There's a little hole here, and you can just tighten that on. Keep spinning until you get it. And the nice thing about that is now as the tree grows, it's easy to go and back that off. So as the tree starts getting wider, starts getting closer to the end, all you have to go do is do the opposite now, and you can just slowly back that off a little bit. So that's why I like that. Once you got it in there, pretty simple. Then your fixture is just a 1/2-inch thread, just pops in there and screws in. Now I don't have this all the way in, so it's not going to be super steady, but it'll give you the right idea. And then you just make your adjustments, shine it down. One thing I will say is anytime you're doing downlighting, something you do want to do is get one of these hex baffles. I don't know if you can see this little honeycomb. Sorry, this bee's bugging me here. This little honeycomb shaped filter. Basically what that does is it just goes underneath the lens. And then now when that's shining down, it helps deflect the glare, because especially with downlights that are shining down, if you walk right under it or kind of in the proximity of it, sometimes it's shining right in your eye. What this does, it helps deflect that a little bit, so it's not as bright in your eye. And then lastly, the other question I get is, how do you go and secure the wire to the tree? Because you can leave it just dangling like this, which is great, but then it, you know, it's visible and people don't always like that. So how you can go secure that is actually just use these zip ties with screw holes in it. Again, another reason that we use those is because it's easy to go and back that screw off as that tree grows bigger. Because so many times I see people who just screw the wire or staple it to the tree or something, and then within a year or two you can't find that wire anymore because the tree's grown right over it. Well, this eliminates that. And basically all you do now is you go and you screw that zip tie to the tree, and then you can go now put the zip tie around the wire, and then you can secure it to the tree. But what it does too is not only does it keep it from the tree growing around it, but as that tree grows, now the wire has some play so it can grow with it. So at the base, anytime you do tree lighting, you want to leave a little bit of wire coiled up and buried so that tree can grow, and you just keep pulling that wire up. And if you need to, over time, you can back this off. That's how you keep lights in trees for a long, long time. And with the lights that we use, they're designed for that. They're not designed to only be up there for 3 to 5 years. They're designed to be up there for as long as you want them to. So that's how you go properly mount a light in a tree to get that cool downlighting effect we talk about all the time. The last area I want to talk about again is this driveway area. Now I know you can't tell with the camera, and the camera never does a real good job of nighttime pictures, but the sun is just starting to go down, and this area is starting to look so cool because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 downlights way up high, 25 feet up in those trees, on some arbutus trees and some pine trees and some cedar trees, and we've got them shining through some of the foliage and some of the branches, so we're getting kind of that shadowing effect on the ground, that moonlight, same kind of effect you get from the sun shining through them in the daytime, and you get all the shadowing patterns on the ground. Now we've created that at night, just with some simple downlighting, and I talked a little bit about that, how to easily mount those with some tree stakes, using zip ties with screw holes, all those kinds of simple little things from this video that can help you totally elevate your project, because there's not that many guys who are doing downlighting. Yes, it takes more time and more effort, probably twice as long, if not 3 times as long than it does for something on the ground, but the effect is so worth it. So we've pretty much wrapped up our project. I hope you guys have enjoyed that and found these videos helpful. And again, landscape lighting is not that tough. I think anybody can do it. There's just a couple simple steps. I mean, obviously, get your design, figure out what you want. If you need help with that, that's why we do our free consultations. Just email me some pictures and I can help you find out what's going to work best on your property. We have our try it before you buy a light, where basically you can buy 1 or 2 fixtures, go plug them into a battery pack, walk around the property and see what's going to look good. So that's another tool to help you come up with the design. Once you got the design, you got your lights, then you just go and you set them around the property, go and place them, start placing them, get a rubber mallet, do that, run your wire, leave extra wire as much as possible, because you never know when you're gonna make mistakes or want to add on down the road. Go and make your wiring connections. Just be sure you have those 2 properties that we talked about, waterproofing and that mechanical connection, so they don't pull apart. Once you got them wired, go and set up your transformer, hook everything up, and go and test those lights. Fire it on, make sure they're all working before you go and bury everything. And my suggestion, especially if you haven't done this before, is come back that first night before you go and bury everything. Make sure you have all the lights where you want them placed. Make sure you're getting the look that you want, and once you do that, then come back the next day, bury all your wire. There's all kinds of other videos that we have on YouTube for how to bury the landscape lighting wire, how to tunnel under sidewalks, and so much more. If you have any questions about how to install your own landscape lighting, just go to YouTube and search lighting doctor, how to, whatever, and I guarantee you'll find it. So I hope you guys find that helpful. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to get your free consultation and send me your pictures at cal@lightingdoctor.ca.